It was hard, man. Like I honestly really struggled, and you just almost just push the trauma to deal with it later. Definitely kind of adjusted to dealing with it, probably like drinking a bit more and being a young fella and just trying to block it out like that. Basically just get on with it. This is your life now. Like you're gonna have to suck it up, get on with it, be the man you know you can be and the father you got shown to be. Yeah, it was a tough time in my life, but to be honest, it shaped me who I am today. It's given me resilience, it's shown me, given me amazing lessons of who I want to be as a person and a dad and a husband as well, which is, he's the fucking man. I want to be the fucking man.
What is success to you?
I think it was a learn to love it experience.
And there's always pitfalls that you can fall in, but then you've got no one else to blame but yourself.
Number one thing if you're struggling is to catch up with people about it.
This episode is brought to you by Forté, specialist in refined timber surfaces for inside and out. From elegant flooring and paneling to durable cladding and decking, Forté delivers unparalleled performance where it matters most. Their products are crafted to elevate every space, combining natural beauty with technical precision and enduring design with innovation. Discover more at forte.co.nz. Logan Dodds, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, mate.
You're not a builder. You keep telling me, Brad, I'm not a builder, but you used to be a plumber.
Yeah, mate. Well, I saw you obviously seen the podcast, bro. It's all builders, so I had to reach out and be like, mate, you realise I'm not a builder, eh?
So there's two reasons I want to have you on, for the audience sake. Is number one, we're on the Gold Coast, and you just moved here about a year ago, right?
Yep.
So I want to pick your brain on that, because I tell my wife about every 2 weeks that I want to move to the Gold Coast, and she tells me shut up, even though she wants to come as well. But I keep bringing it up. And then number two, we love having guests on that also did other things that are like outside of the trades.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of builders where they be thinking, maybe I want to go into different avenues. I have different passions, whether it's in design or whether it's in project management or whatever. So we always like to have guests on that, from time to time,
yep.
that where we can tell a story of how they went into a different path and followed their passion and followed what they're good at, and made a career path out of that as well. So just because you're a builder doesn't mean you have to do exactly what you're doing right now forever, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. So we'll talk a bit about that.
Yeah, cool.
Talk to me a little bit about your upbringing. Like to be honest, I know some about you because you're on social media, and I've followed you on Instagram and sort of you see bits and bobs.
Yeah.
But like the Instagram lifestyle and the Instagram life is not the real life. More often than not, it's not, even though we like to make it as close as we can sometimes. Talk to me about your upbringing. Like, where did you grow up? Like, what was your upbringing like? What was the vibe of who was Logan when he was a little kid?
Who was Logan? Man, I just had like a typical everyday happy-go-lucky Kiwi family. Two mum and dad, sister, one of each, me and my sister. But yeah, awesome upbringing, bro. Like, lived by the beach up at Whangaparaoa, up on the peninsula there, up by Odia.
Yeah.
And yeah, we went up we had family holidays up at Tafanui, played rugby from when I was 5 years old to my old man coaching right the way through to first 15. And so just like a typical happy-go-lucky Kiwi kid, just living his life, man.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. And you play, where did you go to school?
So I went to school at Whangaparaoa Primary.
Cool.
Funny story, actually, me and Sean Johnson went to school together, hated each other. We were rivals at school because he was good at sport and I was good at sport. Yeah. He got Sportsman of the Year like year 6 and I got runner up, and then we went to the same intermediate, Hibiscus Coast Intermediate, and then become best mates. Kind of squashed awesome. A bit of beef.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys are friends now?
And now we're best mates, to this day.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Okay, so you played rugby. What position did you play?
I was a loose forward, so
really?
number 8. That was in my later days. I always tried my hand, first 5, tried to be the hero.
Yeah.
But no, finished up, and when I was loose forward, played over through to first 15. Had an epic couple of years. I captained some of the schoolboys teams. Went to under 21s. Played a season at Prems at Silverdale Rugby.
Cool.
Rugby club. Yeah,
that's impressive because Silverdale is a good club.
It was really epic. I played one of my probably claim to fame on my rugby career. Played a pre-season game with Aaron Smith was halfback and Luke McAllister was first 5, and I was playing number 8. So that's pretty cool. And then just shit the bed and went overseas and played a season over in the UK when I was 25. That's what initially got me overseas. And then just got on the piss and got the travel lifestyle and figured out I wasn't going to be an All Black pretty quick.
So you had some aspirations when you were young to like play footy all the way through?
Yeah, like I always, like the typical Kiwi kid just wanted to be an All Black, bro. Like, it's like you get growing up and you see these heroes, the All Blacks, like, Tana Umangas, Christian Cullens, like all those heroes are just like, just on a pedestal and you just idolise them, man. And my old man was obviously, he played rugby and he was into his rugby as well. So he'd always, some of my fondest memories as a kid, he'd get me out of bed at like, the early hours in the morning and watch the UK tests and I was like, fall asleep on the couch, but like get up, watch the, like you'd just be, in the middle of the night, you're watching the haka, you're all fizzed up, like, some of my best moments with my old man, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Like, you like a little kid, you do the haka, man. Have a bit of wheat bix or something, How old are you now?
34 now.
34, okay. Yeah. So I'm almost 40. So okay. So Tana Umanga, like, okay, I'm kind of trying to find the era of where you're at.
Justin Marshalls, the Andrew Murdens.
Yes.
So a few, that was like the goats.
Yeah. Because I grew up in South Africa and I moved to New Zealand when I was like 15.
Yeah.
And went to like Auckland Grammar. It was a big culture shock for me. But I used to like just think the All Black, like it's funny when we were Springbok supporters obviously, but we thought the All Blacks was just like the best thing ever. Like it's funny, I almost supported All Blacks more when I lived in South Africa than I do now. Just kind of strange. But when I grew up as well, it was all 95 World Cup stuff. So it was like, Andrew Murdens, Justin Marshall, Lomo,
crazy, bro. What an era of like sport.
It's just epic, eh? That's the nostalgia for me now. And probably a bit for you as well, 100%,
right? 100%, man, 100%.
Okay, so you played a bit of rugby and you went overseas. What did your dad do and your mum do for a job?
So my old man was a motor trimmer, upholsterer.
Cool.
Old lady was just bounced around office jobs, kind of receptionist, and ended up working for my old man. So he just worked from home, just out of the garage he was pretty cruisy, just, like epic. He valued being at home for us rather than like, going out and making bank. So we always had a epic childhood with, both our parents always around and there's a lot of hands on deck with that. So it was,
it's always like a bit of it's always a bit of interesting because we'll talk soon about, because you just became a dad, right? And we'll talk about that shortly, but it's a very interesting conversation because sometimes, you have like the Andrew Tates of this world be like, oh, the dad's just, he doesn't need to be around very much. He can just, dip in and out, provide, be the man, be the alpha. And then you have the other side as well, and I guess those are both extremes where it's like, no, the dad should be around, should be involved, change the nappies. And where do you sort of sit? Because obviously your dad was around, and what impact did that have on you having your dad around as much?
Oh, bro, it's the best. Yeah, the best, man. Like, but we never went without. Like, he still worked hard, but he'd knock off by 4 or 5 p.m. every night. But because he worked from downstairs, you could go down and like catch up with him, and he'd always stop what he was doing, and come home from school, and he'd be there, and sit on the bench, and he'd just stop what he was doing, have a yarn for half an hour, and so he's definitely like given me a lot of he showed me what I wanted to be as a dad, and then now you're kind of becoming a father now. That's different as well. But I actually lost him when I was 18. He passed away when I was 18. So
sorry, man.
No, it's crazy now. It's coming up like 16 years. But it's like a pretty pivotal age where you kind of need a father figure, and but I'm like that reason he was around, and so I got a lot of time with him, which I've valued, and I'm grateful that I got that time. If he was out hustling and trying to make millions, I wouldn't have seen him ever.
Yeah.
But I got that time, and then he's taught me how to be a father, and I'm taking that into my boy now, which is it's beautiful.
It's so cool that you got that time, eh? It's like in hindsight, it's kind of it was all like, I mean, he obviously didn't know he was going to go that early, but him putting in that time, you got the time. Like, how awesome is that?
Yeah, crazy, man. It was like 46, so it's 6 years away from you. Like, it's fucking nuts when you think about it like that.
So young, eh? How did he pass?
Just a brain aneurysm, just a random stroke on a Wednesday night, just out of the blue, like healthy as, he was fit, strong, didn't smoke a cigarette, enjoyed a few beers, like everyone else, but nothing excessive, and it just shows kind of, you never know when your number's up, and going back to your point, like where I sit in that spectrum of probably like be a man, you know, be strong, go to the gym, work out, look after yourself, eat healthy, is very much where I sit in that space.
Yeah, I love that. So what impact did that have on you? Because you just mentioned that I know when I moved to New Zealand, I was 15. I think it was like the worst time to move, you know, because you're very impressionable. You're just figuring out who you are in this world. A couple of years later for you, what impact did that have on you, having your dad? It was like a rock and all of a sudden he wasn't there anymore. Which way did you sort of turn? Did you kind of go a little bit off the rails? Did you
Yeah. No, it was hard, bro. He was like, he was my best mate. Like and I was young and I was just still trying to figure out who I was as a young man, and to have your best mate and a father figure that you look up to, like go out of the blue, and it was hard, eh? It was like definitely kind of adjusted to dealing with it, probably like drinking a bit more and being a young fella and just trying to block it out like that.
Yeah.
And then you just almost just push the trauma to deal with it later, which is, you know, like it's still hard, man. Like it's obviously times are here and every day gets not easier, but you just deal with it a bit more. But yeah, it was a tough time in my life, but to be honest, it shaped me who I am today. You know, like it's given me resilience. It's shown me, given me amazing lessons of who I want to be as a person and a dad and a husband as well, which is, you know, he's the fucking man. So
yeah,
I want to be the fucking man.
That's cool. That's cool to have someone that you can like look up to. That's like a North Star.
Yeah.
And sort of just like, oh yeah, what would he do in this situation? I think that's awesome to have that, you know. And even though you lost him early, obviously, I think it's a blessing to be able to have that, you know, role model, someone to look up to. When you then, after that, how long did it take before you got into the plumbing game? What made you want to get into become a plumber? Like, were you just like, oh, these guys are like raking it in? What was the transition?
Not that at all, man. It was my ticket out of school, bro. It was I left school when I was 15. No, 16. Well, I was end of year 12, so end of sixth form. It was just my ticket out of school. I didn't really kind of not agree. I just didn't connect with the school system and sat in a row and listen to a teacher and be told what to do, and like I don't know, I always felt like I was never like really naughty or like not like, I just kind of didn't connect with it. I was falling asleep at the back of the class and I was just like, fuck, I just want to get out and there's got to be more to life. And I don't know, I kind of was not like rushing my childhood, but like always wanted more and wanted to get out, and I just thought school was boring. Like, I didn't, you know. Like,
that's pretty boring.
You know, like, which is, I don't know, you look back at it this day and age, and it's the only thing that hasn't changed over how many years.
Yeah.
You sit in a row and you get told what to do and you get taught the same lessons, like, and the world's evolved like tenfold.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get taught that many real world lessons, but, you know, how much do you use of school what you knew now?
Yeah. That's why, like, it's crazy. Everyone's like, everyone gets diagnosed with like ADHD now these days.
Yeah, there's a label on everything, man.
It's just like, and I find it very interesting. I'm just like, and I don't like it because it's a attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, right? And I'm like, okay, so if you could like sit still, if you're a little boy and even like a teenage boy, and you can like sit still and just stare at the board all day, you're normal. And if you're a boy that wants to like get out and get all fidgety and like I want to go outside, that's a disorder. So I know there's obviously like, you know, someone screaming at listening to this right now going, you know, whatever that knows more technical terms of what it is. But I just think it's crazy that they just sort of like smack that on so many people just because they don't want to just sit in a single file, man. You know?
Totally. Even like now, like during like meetings and corporate meetings, that's why like I ended up working for myself, because I hated being told what to do. And then so like now I've got a not corporate, but like I have to sit in meetings and stuff, and even then like anything over 45 minutes or half an hour, I'm goners. Like, get me out of there. I'm starting to either fall asleep or just mind's elsewhere.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Like, not like, is that like an ego problem? Or what is that like? Not because I have that, like not wanting to be told what to do. Because I even get that with like, I told my wife the other day, I was like, my accountant's just like up my asshole. asking me all this stuff, and then like I've actually have a business coach mentor that's helping me, and he wants this and that, and it's like I feel like they're telling me what to do, and I don't like it. Like, what is that? I don't know if that's a negative thing or not. Anyway, it's something I've got to deal with. So you went into then that was your ticket out of school.
Yep.
Going into plumbing. What was your process of getting into that? Was there someone that sort of helped you into it?
Yeah,
or how does that work?
One of my older mates, Matthew Clark, he's got a successful plumbing company in Auckland at the moment now. He's, I forget, MC Plumbing, I believe it's called. He's cranking flying, yeah, MC Plumbing. So Matt Clark, he was basically a couple of years older than me, and he left school and he was plumbing. And it was honestly, I said to him one day, I was like, do you enjoy it? And he goes, yeah, it's pretty good. And I was like, sweet. And one of my family friends knew he was like a site manager sort of thing. He'd cruise around. He worked for, I forget what company it was, and he'd be cruising around sites around Auckland. And I just said, if there's, put some feelers out, if you know anyone that's looking, for an apprentice. And a couple of weeks later, he came back and a company called Hanlon Plumbing, I think it's the business, probably one of the biggest ones in New Zealand. I think biggest plumbing company in New Zealand now.
Yeah, well, I've definitely seen them around.
So I was basically his first or second apprentice, and then when I was 16, so I went on with.
So when the company was that young.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I God knows how many. There'd be a couple of hundred probably now. But yeah, I was one of the first apprentices. Simon Hanlon took me on and gave me a chance, and he was a rugby boy too. Like he played for Takapuna, so we got along. We had common ground, and yeah, like I loved it was epic, man. I love being a apprentice. Obviously, there's shitty jobs like
being a plumber.
Yeah, being a plumber. But I was out doing stuff. I was out cruising around Auckland in the van, bouncing around. And like the beauty with plumbing too is, which I quite liked, was you're not stuck on one site for an extended period of time. Yeah, like you're in and out. Kind of you're out in piping out a bathroom, or you're doing this and that, like kitchens. It's all kind of a couple of days or however long, maintenance jobs, you're in and out, so you're kind of always moving around.
Yeah, so you're not getting sort of sick of the job.
Yeah,
the same thing.
And so whether my ADHD or whatever it was, helped make it really satisfied that. I was bouncing around and moving around heaps. So yeah, it was cool.
Is it quite hard to learn plumbing? Is it quite a technical skill, or is it?
I mean, there's a few moving parts, and I guess this day and age, like, man, I haven't been on the tools for probably nearly coming up 10 years, but there's roofing now, there's gas fitting, there's drainage, there's all these sub trades within the trade that I don't know. I'm sure now there's like obviously there's roofing companies, drainage companies, there's like gas fitters, that just do that.
Yeah.
So
like
there's
super specialized.
Yeah. So there's a lot of moving parts within it, I guess. So you've either got to know a lot about everything, or you just hone in on the one thing. So like there's residential plumbers, there's commercial plumbers, there's maintenance plumbers. So. But we were doing bits and pieces of everything. So it was, we did a lot of commercial stuff, which I was a bit punishing because it was a few night shifts and, you kind of unblocking toilets and that.
Yeah, I can imagine. So how long did you do that for? Like,
I got qualified when I was 20. So worked basically, done all my block courses and that, went through the system at Unitech and didn't miss anything, just smashed it all out. Got qualified and got upgraded to $25 an hour, I think, when I got signed off. So like a $5 pay rise or something. That's probably minimum wage now, isn't it? It's close to minimum wage, man.
But back then,
crazy,
with inflation,
nuts.
Back then it would have been
when I started, I was on $10 an hour. Was my apprentice wage.
So you went through all your coursework. Yeah. That's easy. It's very easy. It's very interesting because at school you couldn't do it. But now all of a sudden,
I still struggled a bit with all the theory the theory stuff. But I passed. Like a few of the boys failed their bookwork and you have to resit it.
Right.
So you obviously have to go through and do all the practical stuff, and then there's like the big theory test at the end of it.
Yeah.
And I passed that, which I was pretty stoked with. So just had to study a bit and do all that, which you can imagine wasn't ideal, but still done it. Yeah, it was good.
So did you ever like walk around going, maybe I'll start my own plumbing business? Was that the goal, or what was the goal at that point?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I never saw it as a long term for everything. Like it was kind of just a my ticket out of school for then, and then it was like earn while you learn, so you're just getting paid while you're learning a skill, get signed off, and then bam, you've got your ticket. You know, you've got something to fall back on. Which my old man was a massive lead push for that. You know, he's like, well, mate, if you want to leave school, get a trade, and then at least you're getting paid, and then you've come away with something at the end of it, and then you've got a ticket. Like, you know, everything shits the bed tomorrow. I could go back and get a job pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's awesome. Like,
which is I'm a massive advocate for that. And I've always been an advocate for that.
Yeah.
And now obviously not been on the tools, but so when I left, a buddy and I, another plumber of mine, Jesse James, we started a company called Trade Collective, which we went around schools.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So what was that? Talk to me about that, because it was encouraging young people to get into the trades.
Yeah.
Right?
So that eventuated kind of after we kind of skipping forward a bit, but
we'll come back. But you can tell me about that.
So when kind of got a bit of a following online and a bit of a social presence in that, and doing a bit of work. And then same thing happened to Jesse. He had a bunch of stuff that blew up, and he got a bit of a space in New Zealand as well, in there in that kind of content space. And he basically butted our heads and we're like, man, this is like, how can we tell other people about it, or how can we kind of, you know, being a tradie was a dropout. You know, you're a loser if you go to a trade. You're fucking, you know, you're the pie and the V's and the ciggies, the kind of guys. And you're just like, well, like you can live a pretty gangster life or pretty epic life if you get signed off, and you know you're earning good money. And all that, as us all tradies know how good it is. And we wanted to tell the teachers, man. The teachers were the biggest problem at school. Oh,
right.
you're a drop kick, bro, go to a trade, or like, you know, you're a naughty kid, go to hard tech or something, you know. So we wanted to kind of change that perception of like second and third year apprentices are getting paid more than the teachers, man.
Yeah.
You know? So they're not telling the kids that, are they?
Yeah.
You know?
And so how did you guys go about that? Because I've seen some photos or something, you guys going around speaking to kids at different schools. Like what was the setup? Did you have to like get sponsors, and then you have to like to fund it, and you have to like then you went around New Zealand? Or
yeah,
what?
exactly, man. So we basically got at the time our first sponsor was Plumbing World, so they basically were like the name and right sponsor for it, which was cool. So we just created basically a 30-minute presentation. Had like highlights of like both Jesse and I doing cool shit around the world, traveling. He'd skydive, jump out of hot balloons and stuff. So you know, we were hoping the kids were going to look at us like I was looking at the
you guys were like just
the heroes of the Andrew Murdens and the Tana Umangers. But it was cool, man. And then we had like a few industry facts and kind of how much you can earn, and the rough hours you'd be working and what it takes. And it's crazy, man. Like we went in the last, so I was involved probably in the start for like 5 years. Jesse's run it by himself now, been for a couple of years.
Oh, cool.
And we went to over 100 schools around New Zealand. Spoke to probably 10,000 students, and it's crazy, man. Like, and so I work for the Warriors now. I contract, and Stacey Jones, the GOAT. Stacey Jones,
the GOAT,
the GOAT. His son went to one of our talks, and he's now a plumber. From
cool.
that, yeah. So we've got endless amounts of kids that reach out to us, and you know, say, man, thanks so much. I went to his talk and got into the trades, and that is loving their life now. So
that's so good,
crazy, man.
Honestly, and especially in today's world, man. Because I mean, you know, you're in the content game, so you cross paths with people that you know are more doing digital stuff, and there's some sort of quote unquote easy money to be made. People doing crypto and all sorts of other stuff, and sometimes you know the young guys, the Gen Z now, you know, which is Dan upstairs now, one of our producers. He's Gen Z, and it's very hard for them because they just look at like Instagram and they're just like all these people just like making, you know, all this money and doing no work. But those guys, you need to give them the reality of being in the trades, actually getting that ticket, and working with your hands, and like satisfaction of being out there and out in the elements. I think it's awesome. Like I think more guys should get into it. So I think it's awesome that you guys do. So Jesse's running that now himself, is he?
Yeah, he's still charging. So I mean, cool. And it's like, you know, we were stoked the impact that it's made, bro. Like that's exactly what we wanted to tell the kids, like. Yeah. And now even more than ever now, like it's probably needed more so than ever as the Gen Zs get through and through. Everyone wants, you know, they like say the quick buck, and no one wants to work hard, and you know, 10 ways to make fucking $100,000 and like blah blah blah. Like it's nothing, like you know, nothing beats that Friday knock-off feeling, man. Having a beer and you've had a hard week at work, like
100%.
Your hands are all like blistered up and you're physically knackered, like it's. Yeah, it's epic. Like, and it's probably a bit of a dying art.
Yeah. I think it's awesome that you guys did. So the only reason you were able to do that was because you had a bit of a following.
Yep.
Let's rewind a little bit. So you're a plumber, and because I want to touch on how you got your following, right? Yep. You didn't buy your followers. You got it legitimately.
No, God, no.
So tell me about that story.
Yeah. So basically, after the old man passed away and a couple of years dealing with that, decided to go overseas to the UK. And one of the guys at Silverdale Rugby Club, Jeff Alley, had a contact with a rugby club over in the UK. His name's Terry Sands, and he worked for, I don't know if you've seen the brand Samurai. You might have seen it over in South Africa. It's It's like a kit sponsor.
Yes,
the kit they design all the
I've seen
kit.
it like a red kind of.
Yeah. So back then, he was one of the top dogs up there, and he had his fingers in a pie at a club called Bury St Edmunds.
Okay.
So there was a connection between Silverdale Rugby Club and Bury St Edmunds, and I just said, mate, if there's anything going, I'd probably be keen to have a look overseas and come back. And there was a gig there, and it was like wasn't paid as such, but it was like there was a car, accommodation, and the job and that all sorted. So it was a pretty easy transition. But it was like an hour and a half out of London, so it wasn't in the hustle and bustle. It was kind of, it was in the middle of Suffolk, which is like a bit more of a kind of farmery town.
Right.
But it was epic, man. Like your heroes up there, man. Like you get treated like you're a lord, and you have a good game, and you're getting shout beers in the pub afterwards, and like.
I can imagine that because
cool.
It does feel like you're like almost like a professional rugby player. You're out there because you are getting paid through a car and accommodation.
Yeah. Well, a few of the boys were getting like it was semi-professional. Like the real good guys were getting. I was like only basically a bench, like I was scratching the starting lineup, you know. But few of the good boys were getting like, you know, I think £500 a game or something, like so semi decent coin on top of your wage.
Yeah. So you played a bit of rugby there, and you did a bit of travelling from there.
Yeah. So I had so after I only played a season, and obviously you get a 2-year working visa in London. So kind of got to the end of my 9-month, playing for the season. And the pivotal factor from that was the 2000 and must have been like 13. One of the Rugby League World Cups was over in the UK, and Sean, the Kiwis were playing England in the semi-final, and it was like an hour train for me, like on the other side of the world, and it was an hour train to watch my best friend play in the semi-final. The rugby league, but it was the same time as my game on the Saturday. And I said, mate, like I've got to go, like I can't not. And the dude was like, sorry, mate, you can't go. And I was like, I should have been like, I'm going, like, but I stayed, and he scored the winning try in the last minute and kicked the winning goal on the hooter.
I think I remember that game.
It's like the most iconic try in rugby league.
Oh man,
fucking insane.
Were you like,
so after I saw that moment, I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. And so I moved down to London, and
and that was
the rest is history.
That was it for the rugby career.
Yeah. I figured out I was quickly learned I wasn't going to go much higher level than that. It just got too small and lost the kind of love for it a bit, you know. So moved down to London and got a job. Bang, I'm a plumber. Kiwi workers, they've got a good rep down there.
Boom.
Just got a job literally within a day. But terrible work. You're working in crazy old buildings, and it's like dusty brickwork, and you're ripping up floorboards with dust, and I'm allergic to dust.
Yeah,
it's a fucking nightmare. But
so it'd be cold and miserable.
Man, miserable. But the plus side of being in the UK is you got Europe on your doorstep, so you can on the weekends you can fly to Spain, Italy, Turkey. You know, like so quick, real cheap, and just got the love for traveling, man. And you know, like taking my ADHD, which I don't have, but moving around so much and seeing different things and experiencing new places and meeting new people, and you're traveling and seeing the world, like it was it, man. So I'd created had like a 6-month trip planned. It was like had over the 6 months I had heaps of little trips planned, and I just thought if I put together a little like video, it could be cool to look back. And I saw like a template. This guy was high-fiving the camera, and he'd like. It was like a different one. He'd end up at a different location. I was like, I could do that from like one thing there, one thing there. And I was going to like Glastonbury and Oktoberfest and like all these iconic spots around Europe. And so it was just like, bam, high five, and I'd be in Glasgow. Then I'd be like, bam, I'm in Oktoberfest, and bang, I'm in Turkey, and like all these epic moments, and just this kid, this young Kiwi fella, just living his best life, happy as, just like not a care in the world, which come out in the video. You could see it.
Yeah.
So the viewer that ended up watching it felt that. And that's
So when you like edit it, I want to know, like, I want to go back. So you're editing it, what did you edit it on? Just like iMac or something? Or
like it was on iMovie, but because I didn't even know how to. It was a GoPro 3, and I bought it. Didn't know how to use it, and then like looking back now, you shoot something, you back it up again, and to have your footage. I was shooting my stuff, leaving it on the GoPro, going swimming with it, like. The GoPro actually shit itself like for a portion of the trip, wasn't working. I was like, fuck, I just threw it away. And then randomly come back on in Budapest, and I was like, So I started again, and then got back, and one of my friends helped me edit it. We put like a cool tune behind it, and then just put it on Facebook, and like within a day or something, it had like 1 million views, and then just skyrocketed. It was crazy.
So when you watched the edited version, were you like, I mean, obviously you never ever thought it was going to go to 1 million views, but like, were you like, yeah, this is a banger?
Oh yeah, this is a vibe. Yeah, we're like, man, this is hectic, like, and cool to watch. Like, can't wait to show all my mates back home how much fun I'm having, and like, fuck, this is epic. Like, it was cool. Like, epic. Even now, I watch it like with a smile on my face. Like, it's cool.
Yeah,
cool to look back on.
Because it's sort of like a snapshot of like your actual life at the time. Of enjoying life, being in the moment, just having fun. Young kid in Europe.
Living his best life, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. So you chuck it on. Million views in a day?
It was probably a couple of days.
And then what did you think then at the time? Were you just like...
Oh, it was pretty crazy. It was like, I was plumbing, and I was up a ladder. I was installing like some sort of, I don't know, some weird shit they do over there, like all the gas and the boiler units and that. I was up a ladder, and I remember, and I was just refreshing my phone, it'd just be like 30,000 views, 40,000 views. Like, it was just like went up. And then I was just like, holy shit. So I ended up fucking up the job. So I ended up having to pay my boss for the mistake that I made whilst being like, holy shit, like working on it, not even concentrating.
Because that was back then as well. So it's not like...
It was all organic too.
Like now it's different. Like now there's so much, because of the algorithm and TikTok and stuff, everything can go viral. But back then the algorithm wasn't set up for that.
There's no algorithm. It was just literally people watching it. Like it was organic as it got. And it was kind of like, it was that long ago, so Instagram was kind of just taking off, and that travel space was kind of cool to be doing, and like, so
it's before all of that was like kind of like normal. And then what came off the back of that, like in terms of opportunities?
Yeah, well, it just basically was blowing up, and then I'd have BuzzFeed reaching out, I had like the Daily Mail reaching out, like within like a day or two, it was just snowballed. I had I was on live TV in Australia with Carl Stefanovic, like,
so
it was
Carl.
it just went bang, and then the media jumped on they ended up calling it like the hot tradie. So
Nice. You're like, I like that.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, sweet.
You sure you didn't come up with that?
No.
You just drop it in there. You're like, I think someone called me the hot tradie the other day. Run with it.
Because how I started the video, I was in New Zealand. I was on a job site in my hivers, and I was like, start that high five.
Yeah, I remember. I watched it years ago now, but I watched it. Yeah,
and then that just kind of was the start of the story.
Sick.
And then the first company that reached out was Kentucky. So I had no money. Like, I'd spent everything traveling.
Yeah.
So I was on my way home. I was pretty shy to get my mum to buy my flight home because I had no money. And I went via America to do a 2-week all expenses trip around America, around the East Coast.
Sick. And then you just created more content?
And got home, got back to New Zealand, and I was obviously posting and that. And but it was all shit photo. Like, it was all shit content because I didn't know what to do.
A quick shout out to Forté supporting today's episode. They work across flooring, wall surfaces, exteriors, and more. But what sets them apart is how their timber performs over time. Forté is trusted by architects, designers, and builders, not just for their materials, but for the way they support projects from vision to completion. It's about enriching connections and creating something built to last. Learn more at forte.co.nz. So did you know that you enjoyed it then? Because when did that epiphany go off of you? Because you create content now, you do like really cool content.
Yeah.
Like, it's like edited super well. You have like a real eye for it. Obviously talented, like you have a talent for it.
Yeah.
Like born with that talent, and you've kind of built on that. But when Did the penny drop like, oh, I actually like I'm kind of good at this and I'm kind of enjoy it?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed like not like movies, but I don't know. I always like creating something, or like, you know, when I was young, I'd always move my bedroom around and change it, like to try and create a vibe at home, or like have a couch in my room and try and create a vibe, or like put speakers in my room and, like, you know, try and like enhance the vibe or something. And so when I was creating videos or trying to storytell, like, you know, that made me feel something.
Yeah.
Made me feel like epic, and I was like, this can make me feel like this, and, you know, maybe other people can feel like it as well, or you get a sense of like euphoria, or you get like a sense of, I want to be doing that, or like, I don't know, whether it was becoming like creating a vibe and showing it to other people, or just within myself, it was never really I don't know, you look back on some of my older content, it was never, I used other people as inspiration, because I didn't know how to do it, but I was like, that's cool, I want to learn how to do it. And then I'd look at other people and I'd be like, how do they do that? And YouTube it and figure out like, oh yeah, I can kind of do that. And then I'll put my own little spin on it, which I kind of has kind of created my brand and my vibe at the moment, I guess.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just
but
a compilation.
I love storytelling, and now obviously as time's got on and I've learned more skills and I can create the stories a bit better and shot in a more powerful way that looks better. It's been really cool. But at the start, it was all just really raw and completely wrong. I'd have people being like, mate, that's not how you do it. And like, I was getting paid to do jobs, and I'd have people in the comments being like, oh, he hasn't even done that properly, or that, you know, all these like people that knew what they were doing. Oh, you can see the drone shadow and like all this shit. Like,
you're like,
I was like, mate, I don't care. I'm like getting paid to travel the world. Like, who cares?
Nah, and I think that's perfect. Like the fact that you learned it that way. Honestly, I've hired and fired so many like film students that's come work for me, or like, you know, funny enough, Dan comes, he's like a communication student, but like he'll also be the first to tell you that those guys that went to uni, a lot of them, you know, like it's not, I way prefer to hire someone that's come from like a self-taught background than someone that's come from like a, you know, because they are the ones that actually are passionate about it. Because I remember the editor of, I think, you know, Martin Scorsese, right, who does all the epic films like Goodfellas and all that. He's got like this editor, this lady that edits for him, and she will for her it's all about the storytelling. And even you'll see in a lot of his movies the continuity's all out. So like the guy will have like a glass in his right hand, and then it's like it changes the angle, and then he's got like the glass in his other hand, or the cigarette. Like the continuity's off, but she doesn't care because the story wins. Yeah, of course. And that's kind of where you were at, right? You're like, I don't care that the drone shadow is showing. Like that adds to the story of what I'm trying to achieve, right? So I think that's cool. Okay, so you started to create content. You started to obviously build a following. Would you call yourself like an influencer? Are you an influencer?
Oh, well, I got put in the box of that word. But when I was doing that, there wasn't even that word, the influencer. They created that word because they had to put a box it for people. To tax people. Really, there had to be a job title for it, because there was a grey area for that long.
So when your video went viral, there were no influencers?
No, it was like, to get paid to do something online was very rare, unless you're a sports star or a celebrity. Yeah, you know.
How did that fit in with like when, you know, like Casey Neistat and all those guys? Was that around the same time when they all started popping off?
Yeah, he would have been probably similar, but like more in that YouTube space. Yeah. He was I'd always watch his videos and be like, holy hell, like. Yeah, that's incredible.
He's got a cool style.
Yeah, he's a cool style. He's a beautiful storyteller. Yeah, very raw and real and authentic and that, you know. So yeah, I guess that's probably another part of why I enjoyed and why I leant right into to jump in head first in, because obviously plumbing got to me where I was, and I was grateful for that. But I was never loved it, or like I always like got to the point where before I went overseas, obviously being pretty down after my old man passed away, but I was still like, I don't think this is. I think there's got to be more out there for me, and like, you know, I started to just obviously not really enjoy it that much. Yeah. And then this opportunity came and just was like, man, I'm just going to go all in because it makes me feel good, and I can see like, you know, maybe there's something with it, or I'll just give it a crack, and took the risk. And then, you know, so it's paid off.
That's cool, man. It's like that saying, like, what makes you feel, figuring out what you should do is like what makes you feel like play that makes other people feel like work.
And that's what I'd encourage people and young people to do this day and age, as well. Like, find something that makes you feel good or you're interested in, and just lean into that. Because there's money in everything these days. You can make money doing absolutely anything. And if you enjoy what you're doing and you've got a passion for something, that's your starting point.
100%. Like a lot of young builders as well. Like
or you go get a trade.
Yeah.
And then you figure out what your passion is.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like, but then people that get into trade, like builders and, sparkies and plumbers and that, like sometimes there's like a quintessential outline or like a caricature of like what that person looks like. So then they always think that they have to fit within that mold.
Yeah.
And I don't think I would encourage the young guys, like, don't feel like just because that's what a builder normally looks like and that's what he does and that's how he walks and that's how he carries himself and that's what the pie he eats and the whatever, right? Doesn't mean that you have to do that. Like, you could even be in the trade and have a completely different angle because you bring your unique element to it or whatever. So
yeah, and I love what the two worlds combining these days of the trades and the content space. You see some guys like documenting the journeys and the builds and like and you can see it now, man, like the quality of projects and like all these architectures are just going from strength to strength and like pushing the boundaries, and builders are building some incredible homes and documenting it, and people are seeing it and like, man, I want to do that, I wish I can do that. Like, I love it, man. I love following trade content, and I love which has been really cool that people are adapting and taking it online and taking it on themselves. And when I was putting myself out there, I got rinsed. Like, if I was doing like, videos of myself and photos of myself, like, you get rinsed. Oh yeah, Kiwi bloody culture, you get shut down, tall poppy syndrome pretty quick. Yeah. But it's cool, man. I love there's some wicked tradie like influencers out there, like content creators that are doing some cool stuff. Like really, really showcasing the trades in a cool manner. Yeah.
No, I think it's awesome. What are some of the misconceptions people have around you and the job that you do as a content creator? And obviously you have different things that you do, but like you have a social media life, persona, not persona. Like, it's not you didn't create the persona, but it's like how people perceive you.
Yeah.
What are some of the misconceptions people have about doing that? Like, because you don't just sit around and people just throw money at you, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
I don't know. I've always just kept like authentic to who I am, and like, I didn't try and be someone I'm not, or you see so many people that try and do that to make a quick buck or to go viral or shit like that, which is like, I've always tried to be true to myself and work with brands that I believe in or use or I'm passionate about. But yeah, I guess it's just like I don't know if it's a jealousy thing or if it's like it's definitely not a jealousy thing, but it's like putting yourself out there. You're open to be putting yourself shut down pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like whether it's like it's an easy job or get a real job or whatever. I don't know. But it's especially with that in that influencer space. And I'm guilty of probably looking at influencers and going, or like
but like, give it up. But but I mean, I have a lot of friends that are like influencers that have done it. That are I don't like that term either. So I don't like. I assume you don't like it. I think it's weird. I think it's like people are content creators or they're doing all different aspects and they just happen to be online, right?
Yeah.
But I have friends in that space, and it's actually like I've seen behind the scenes. Like, it's actually like, it's not what people think a lot of times. Like, it's actually it sort of has for a lot of people, it has a lot of negative mental, negative impact on their mental health, right? Totally. Because you constantly have to be like thinking about content. You constantly have to think about, and sometimes you just don't want to do it, and it's part of your job. And I don't know, like who I'm kind of talking about. It's like I've some friends that are more in that like more family content and things like that, and like it's not as glamorous sometimes as people think, right? Totally.
But if you've got a cool story to tell and it's a genuine story and it's you're not faking it, or you're not creating stories, or you're not like like, I love following people that say like someone like Hercules, the chef, like he's a chef, but he documents and creates content in a wicked way that you can enjoy the journey. And then like tradie influencers who are actually a tradie and they tell their story in a wicked way. Yeah. But just like well, I don't know, whatever an influencer is,
Yeah.
to try and be like coming up with it, you know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, if you've got a story or you're like, you know, you're established in one space and you can use the social media to enhance that, I think that's the way to do it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I think the influencer side should just be the byproduct of you doing your thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so you then, because you kind of followed your passion, you followed, and it's like a cliche term, but it's like you followed what made you feel like you're coming alive, right? What made you feel good, and what you like doing, what felt like play to you, and you kept doing, you got better and better, and then one day you woke up and you were working with the Warriors. How did that come to be?
Yeah. I mean, so there's been a long between that Kentucky job and where I'm at now. Like,
Of course.
It's coming up 10 years to the day that video did go viral. So, man, I've worked with some epic brands, global brands, traveled the world, and like experienced things in my wildest dreams. I just never went to Antarctica last year, like crazy. It was at the Rugby World Cup in 2023. Like, just some endless euphoric moments that just like look back on, and
it's like bucket list stuff.
I've done endless bucket list things. This like my bucket list is overflowing, man. It's like, and just so grateful to done it, and to be able to look back on and have like achieved all those things. But you know, as you get older and get into a relationship and you slow down a bit, like, you know, I was living that life at 25, 26, 27, and you know, like, and then now I'm 34. And so you kind of like naturally, like, I mean, I'd still like enjoy to live that life, but it's not sustainable. You know, you can't live out of a backpack. Well, I couldn't. Like, I need a little bit of stability to.
Oh yeah, of course.
And a bit of routine to kind of make me happy. But
come in your 20s forever.
Yeah, and it's, you know, like, it's you need to not grow up, but you need to like look into the future a bit more. And I was very much, it'll be all right, like, I spend everything I make, and let's go here and I can do that. And then, you know, but it got to a time where I needed to start knuckling down and like making money. And then I met my partner at the moment, my wife, and you know, how I got into the Warriors was obviously being a rugby fanatic, sports fanatic my whole life. Grew up Sean Johnson, been in that space. And then I just started to blend the two passions of like content, storytelling. I started working with like a few athletes. I was working with Under Armour.
Cool.
I was shooting all the All Blacks content. I was working with Lisa Carrington, Sophie Pascal. So doing all their content as well, which was like starting to move into the bit more like naturally progressing into the sporting space as well. And then I guess had a bit of a portfolio in that space, and then fell into the Warriors. One of the guys who was after they went to COVID, they got relocated over to Australia.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And then so I basically took over the job. I was like wanting to look into his job because my wife's company's Ortex, Family Ortex, they acquired the Warriors a few years ago, about 5-6 years ago now.
Yeah. So
we've always been heavily involved in that space and going to all the games, and me being from the content like background, I'd always like watch how he was doing it, or like kind of I wanted to shadow him, and I was like, bro, I would love to shadow you next year if I could come on for the games and like blah blah blah. And then he's like, mate, I'm leaving. I said, and then I had the CEO Cam George called me up and he's like, mate, like, would you be interested? And I was like, I don't know, I don't think I'm there yet, man. Like, I wasn't confident. I was like, I literally mulled over it for weeks. I was like, I can't do it. I don't think haven't got to that level of what it needs to be at the moment. And he's like, nah, mate, you're sweet, would love, like, and he gave me the confidence, and I was like, okay, sweet. So I took it on, and just like, yeah, it was pretty crazy to have that imposter syndrome of like, I don't think I should be here.
And what do you think what brought that on? Like, why do you not think? Were you literally just not there yet, skill wise, or do you think it was all in your head a little bit?
Oh, a bit of both. Like, definitely, like, you know, I've never done a photography course or like a videography course, or so I've always kind of done it how it's worked for me, and because I've always been working for myself in the content game, I've never really been told if it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was moving into a profession where I have to have some sort of like structure to it, and like And I
You're
was
working with other people.
working with other people, and like, you know, we're doing big projects, and like that were, you know, those are the things we're getting on played on the big screens. And I was like, is my export settings going to be right, or like, am I shooting the right way that it's going to be there? So I'd like, you know, quickly had to my focus settings right. Like sports photography is like a whole nother game, and you know, it's fast moving, action pace. It's like
If you miss it, you miss it.
full noise. Yeah, if you miss it, like it's bam bam. But what was the beauty, and also not coming from a background of that, was I was able to kind of blend my lifestyle, travel, storytelling into the sporting world, which was kind of, we created the Up the Wires movement from on the back of that. Was we brought people into storytelling aspects of the players. So we're heroing the players, and we're going home with them, and we're cooking dinner with them, and we were traveling with them, and we were like telling their story really cool. So the fans and the audience were getting bought into and they're buying into the characters.
I think this is brilliant. I've had so many conversations about this. You don't know. I've had so many conversations with people that using the Warriors as an example of the importance of storytelling, and how you look at all the sports franchises, and even, to be honest, even the All Blacks and stuff, which in my opinion, I may be wrong, but in my opinion, are getting a little bit left behind because they're not innovating. You know, you look at what's happened with the, Auckland FC. You look at what you guys been doing. Like, I think it's absolutely brilliant, and I've noticed that. Like, and I don't know if it's purely your involvement or somewhat your involvement.
There's a whole team of us.
Yeah, but it's like I've noticed it. Like, and like the groundswell of fans that sort of turned to the Warriors, even people that weren't really that into like league, we were around a time where, like, honestly, like 15 years ago, if someone was walking down the street with like a Warriors hat on, like, that would not be cool.
Yeah.
Where now, if you're wearing like Warriors, like, it's like cool. Like, and people wear it like it's a cool gear, you know, like, and people are proud to wear it. And you guys have created a whole movement. And I think a big part of that is the storytelling, showing people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I think you've done an epic job now. And I know you got to go soon because you got like a little baby. But just talk to me quickly before you go. What's it been like transitioning, becoming a dad? What has it taught you? How has it smashed you in the face? Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. Oh man, it's, to be honest, I completely underestimated it. So I was always like, we were always on the fence about having kids as it was, and then it was kind of, we found out. I'm like, okay, sweet, like, kind of, we're like obviously stoked, but I was like, fuck, like, it's gonna be hectic. And then as everything progressed and got later and later, I was like, oh, make sure you get lots of sleep, and you know, like, oh yeah, like, yeah. I was like, oh no, we'll be all good, like, you know, he's gonna be a dream baby, and like, we'll be cruisy as, he won't cry, and then yeah, it's just been a massive adjustment, I guess. Like, it's like, I guess the lack of sleep and the letting go of, like, I've really struggled to, like, not bond a connection instantly, but like I loved him when he was first born, like that oxytocin rush, and like there's 2 weeks of you're just besotted with him, and it's like, and then once that dies down and everything goes back to normal and the dust settles and like everyone kind of goes back to work, and you're like left with this little blob of flesh that you have to like keep living, and like he's up at night and you're just like it was hard, man. Like, I honestly really, really struggled, and told my wife, and like, she's like, you know, how are we gonna like move forward together? And she's like going through she's just birthed a baby and gone through 9 months of hell, and like her body's changed, and so I felt like my feelings weren't that like valid. Like, they're valid, but like she's got way more of like a shit to deal with, and so I had to like basically just get on with it. I'm like, this is your life now. Like, you're gonna have to suck it up, get on with it, and like be the man you know you can be, and the father you got shown to be. And it took me a few weeks to kind of really like let go of that old lifestyle, because it was so within reaching distance for me. Like, I was, you know, the man, you don't, obviously you have 9 months of basically just cruising, like in terms of not growing the baby or anything. So when it's your time to go, it's like, right, switch is on now, you got to like go. And I was still like, oh, my 5 gym sessions every morning a week, my saunas and my ice baths are like still within the reaching distance. And so I really struggled to let go of that freedom a bit. But, you know, it's like he's my son's 9 weeks tomorrow. So like,
cool.
Definitely come around a lot, and like had a real moment of like, this is unreal. Like, you know, he's starting to smile now and pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I had to like not let go, but there was almost like a little bit of resentment there of like, you know, oh, you've ruined my life, you little bastard. Like, you know, so but now it's like my life's just starting. Once I had to I figured out once it was almost like it was not actually over, it was just starting, which was pretty cool.
That's cool, man. And like, you know, like I mean, we talked off air as well, but like you're gonna look back at this one day and just laugh and smile. Like it's a complete normal transition. Like, and I bet you guys are doing like a really good job and it's kind of like, as from the dad's perspective, it does take a back seat. And you don't, you know, like, because even like the whole birth scenario, you know, you don't talk about it, and you catch up with your mates that have kids, you just like, jeepers, guys, did you guys, you know, did you guys, you know, because obviously no one's gonna like feel, you know, any sympathy for the dad, right?
Man, no, I've literally called like my mates one by one and just been like, boys,
why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, I need a bit of like support here, boys. It's not like, I know, man. It's like, and I'm just like, but you can't, like, you know, I can only tell them.
And that's normal, man. And that whole thing of letting go, it's also normal. Like, and it's true what you're saying. You have to surrender. You have to, because your life, and this is just me, I mean, I can't speak for other people, but I had to realize as well that it's like your life as you know it is gone. It's been ruined. The little ones came in and ruined it. But what you don't, this is the second part to the story, is that like there's like a new life now after, totally. And it's going to be way like beyond what you can imagine. So it's,
and I can't wait to show him the life that my old man showed me, you know, like all the little jokes and like, you know, the happiness in life and all those moments, man. Going to be epic, so it's crazy. And I've just started basically like now I'm a dad influencer, so I've just started documenting kind of like a bit like not just like the bit of like my thoughts and feelings around like, you know, what it's actually like as a dad and the real raw and honest kind of truth. So little daddy diaries. I'm up to part 2 and they're going good, man. It's cool. It's like I've had heaps of messages being like, thanks so much, bro. Like it's like no one talks about it, or so it's cool. So
that's cool, man.
Another little avenue to start talking about.
Yeah, I think that's cool. And you're going to look back at that and it's going to be a nice little thing you can look back on and just going to remind you where you're at. But like I said, I got to let you go. Your wife's probably there with your crying little one now. And like, witching out, being like, where are you? So, hey, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's like, this is a bit of a different one than how we normally do it, but I kind of I like the variety. And I know a lot of guys listening in do as well. And guys, get in the trades. Like Logan's saying,
get into the trades,
man. But yeah, man, appreciate you coming on and also telling us how cool the Gold Coast is. So
man, no, Gold is epic. Well. But can't beat the trades. But honestly, like always been an advocate for, you know, getting out of school, getting into a trade. You know, imagine that there's so many people that go to uni just cause, and then they're in debt, and then you know you've got a less with a big student loan you have to pay. But trade's honestly the way to go. I wouldn't be where I am without a trade behind me. So
awesome, man. But you hit them, guys. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers, brother.
That's it for today's episode, and thanks again to Forté for making this week's episode possible. If you're after timber surfaces that don't just look beautiful but are built to endure, Forté is leading the way with a focus on sustainability and craftsmanship and unparalleled performance. They're helping bring ambitious projects to life across interiors and exteriors.